Hello and welcome to the weekly LFC news. Hopefully I'll be bringing this to you every single week. But now then, let's just get straight in with it. Obviously we're going to start with the weekend draw against Everton. At the time, yes, it was very, very disappointing. I know that for all us Liverpool fans. We really wanted to win. We really wanted to keep in front of City. Obviously we are now a point behind them. At the time, very frustrated. We didn't play well. Let's face it, Everton, they knew what they were going to do. The long ball seemed to have worked perfectly. And before the game, I wanted a win. I think we all obviously wanted a win. And I think we got into our head that we needed a win. Now, after having 3 days to reflect on it, get all the banter out the way from everyone else, I think a point is not as bad as everyone thinks. There was a guy on the Redmen TV the other day on their pre-match build-up saying that he thought it was going to be 0-0, and a 0-0 is not a bad result in a derby away at this time of the season. Now, I didn't agree with him at the time, but looking at it now, it is a very, very good point. Their crowd were behind them. That's all they wanted to do. All the Everton fans in that stadium around the world, all they wanted to do was dent our title hopes. And they did, let's face it. But at the same time, it's still a point. There were times where they probably could have nicked it, and maybe on the grand scheme of things, even though they did play a bit of long ball, they maybe deserved it more than us. I don't think anyone played well apart from Van Dijk. I thought he was amazing. I think everyone thinks he's amazing. He's got to be right with a shout for Player of the Year, as he's just not put a foot wrong and he's been consistent every single week that he's played, apart from that one match in the Champions League. So yeah, take it as a positive point. That's what all I'm saying is, take it as a positive point. That point could be vital in the title race. Man City has still got to go to Old Trafford, and it's the one time I think every Liverpool fan will be behind with gritted teeth. Obviously, we want United to win that game, and the way that City have been playing lately, why can Man United not beat them or even get a draw? If they get a draw and we win, we go back a point ahead of them, and it can chop and change. Looking at the final fixtures, they have hard games away. We have slightly harder games at home. But how the other teams like Tottenham and Chelsea playing, touch wood, I think at home we should be getting those results. We shouldn't have nerves. They should go into it fighting. And I think that's what I got most frustrated with in the Everton game. They didn't look like they were in the title race. It didn't look like there was any fight in those Liverpool players. So they really need to step that up. Let me know your comments down below. But yeah, that's a positive point, guys. It is a positive point. But going on to our next game, obviously we have Burnley at home, where we are expecting 3 points, and 3 points is all we want. We can't do draws, we can't do losses. We should beat Burnley. We should. They've not been great. They've upset some teams. Man City, they might have had 20 odd shots on target the other day against Bournemouth. Bournemouth had none. I think they had 83% possession. They only won 1-0, and they had a game before. I think they only won with a penalty. So it might have even been that game, to be honest with you. So both teams will drop points, and I still think both teams will drop points. It's just if you drop all three or just two, that is the important thing. But yeah, coming up against Burnley, there is no major injury changes. Obviously, Gomez is still out. Apparently, he'll be back for the Tottenham game after the international break. We're still waiting to actually hear confirmation on that, but that's what Klopp said he thinks will happen. Obviously, we have Milner. He wasn't pictured today. Apparently, he is suffering with a slight, minor hamstring injury. And to be fair, his performance when he came on against Everton compared to the performance last time, it's not the quality we need next week. I personally, Keita, Wijnaldum and Fabinho need to be that midfield three for the next 2 or 3 games, because we need Keita. He might not be world beaten at the moment, but we need him in this Burnley game for attacking reasons, obviously. But yeah, so Milner looks slightly doubtful. I'd say he'd probably be on the bench either way. But we have got big news. OxladeChamberlain and Brewster were back in full training once again. Everyone thought that OxladeChamberlain would play, I believe it was Tuesday night against Tuesday or Monday night for the under-23s against Everton. Unfortunately, the under-23s did lose that game 2-0. But everyone thought Ox would be in that game, but he has pretty much, by the looks of things, been confirmed that he will be playing for the under-23s on Friday night. I've heard little rumours that if he comes through that okay, he will maybe be on the bench for the Bayern game. Personally, I don't think so. Wait for the next Premier League game after that, I'd say, to just put him on the bench, give him 20-25 minutes at the end of that one. But yeah, Ox and Brewster were fully back in training, so that's really positive. I think OxladeChamberlain is a player that we actually have missed considerably, especially from the fact that when he first came, I thought it was a terrible buy, and he didn't seem to do too well. And then when we hit that Champions League run last season, I think he was the man who actually took us on that run, and it was a massive loss. I think if we had him for the whole of this season, we wouldn't be close. We would literally be 10 points ahead, I think. I really do think OxladeChamberlain would have been able to carry that and run at people. That's the main thing. Our midfield doesn't run at anyone. That really annoys me. But yeah, so positivity, guys, with the injuries coming back. Especially Gomez as well. He'll be a big one. Matip, he can be a bit funny sometimes with running out. Quick one on to Loan Watch / that Champions League game. I'm going to mention one player today for the Loan Watch. He did actually score in a 2-1 win for Hertha Berlin the other day. Marco Grujic. Now, I've not seen much with my own eyes. I've seen some clips on Twitter and YouTube. Apparently, and by what I've seen in his goals, he is actually one of the major positives from Hertha Berlin's season. It looks like he's trying to stake a claim in this Liverpool team, or at least around the Liverpool team for next season. And if he can carry his form, what he's doing for the German club this season, if he can carry the form into a season with Liverpool, then why not? He's young, he's an attacking midfielder, he's got a bit of flair, he's got good passing. We've seen him with that, was it against Barcelona in the pre-season, that header he did from nearly outside the box, I believe. He has all the aspects that you want. He just needs to bring them together in the Premier League. Obviously, it'll be a bit harder, but my personal opinion is that the German league is the closest thing you get to the Premier League nowadays. So yeah, Marco Grujic doing well, which is always good to see. Liverpool only doing well. But staying in the German league, obviously Bayern Munich are actually linked with Grujic as well. I did read that one today, so that would be interesting if he wants to stay in Germany. Bayern are apparently looking at him, and obviously I guess Hertha Berlin will want to keep him maybe as well. But sticking with Bayern, they have got a few players back. Ribery's one of them, I believe. Robben and Goretzka. Out of the three of them, the only one I'd worry about coming into the Champions League game is obviously Goretzka. He does look like a really good midfielder. I watched him a bit last season and I did really enjoy him. So that is not a positive for us, but that is a bit of the news. They still have injury concerns. I believe Alaba, he has an injury concern. I'm not sure if he's out for long. And then obviously Kingsley Coman is out, I believe, for the game. It was the game after the Liverpool game at Anfield. I think it's 5 to 6 weeks he's out for, so I don't think we'll see Kingsley Coman. And obviously Kimmich has picked up the suspension, so they're without their first choice right and left back, and this season's first choice, depending on what side he plays, winger. So yeah, we could get at them. Obviously Gary Neville saying that Liverpool should lose the game and concentrate on the league. I would have agreed with him in January before the Wolves FA Cup game. We come out the FA Cup, we have big stints of not playing, and after those big stints, like it happened before, Liverpool don't do well when they're not playing football. Yes, you could pick up injuries, blah, but we need to play consistently every, at least, maximum for me, 10 to 12 days. If we have a gap of 12 days upwards, I think the match after, which we've seen with the Leicester game and I think it's the West Ham game, we did not play well. So I would have agreed with Neville, but after the experience of this season where we've learned, no, we should stay in the Champions League. We can get a run, get our positivity up. Man City have more games in other competitions as well, so it's not like it's added pressure. But I really think we should kick on, especially now Real Madrid are out. That was a crazy game, just saying. Well, yeah, that was just a crazy game. It was too bad that didn't happen last season because Liverpool might have had a chance of actually winning the Champions League. But yeah, that's what's happened with the Bayern team, ready for the Champions League game next week. And just we're going to finish up on some transfers. Now, we've had the Timo Werner. Obviously, all Liverpool fans who have the internet have heard lots and lots of rumours about him. There was a rumour going around last week that he has agreed personal terms with Bayern Munich, but that was literally one paper, and that seems to have been quiet for the last week and a half. And there is a big rumour now that Lewandowski is set to sign a new contract. They want him to stay. They want him still to be their main striker. And obviously Timo Werner needs to be a main striker. He will be a backup at Bayern Munich because that's how they play. They play one striker and wingers. He will not want that. He will want first team football. Luckily we have Mane, we have Keita maybe chatting to him as well, saying, come on mate, you will get in this team. Firmino will probably drop back as an attacking midfielder, where he did play in his previous clubs. I forgot even what club. It wasn't Hamburg. It might have been Hamburg. I can't remember where Firmino was before. But yeah, he could drop in. Timo Werner is a workhorse. He'd literally fit in the Liverpool team great. So apparently there's been a little bit of contact saying that we are interested in him. That would be a massive, massive boost for next season. Especially if we look over the next few days, Lewandowski, if he signs a new contract, we might be in with a chance to get Timo Werner. Another one is Ginter, this centre-back from Mönchengladbach. We've been linked with him very heavily this week. I think he's 25 years old, around that age. He is very, very solid. Will he transfer into the Premier League next to Van Dijk? Yes. At the same time, though, Joe Gomez, for me, is the centre-back partnership with Van Dijk. Then you're going to have Lovren, you're going to have Matip. Obviously, Matip's probably nearing the end of his Liverpool career, I'd say, due to age. Are you really going to have Lovren, Matip, and then Ginter sit on the bench? Ginter would be third choice. Will he want to sit on the bench when he's getting first-team football? And he's at that level now where the other German centre-backs in their country are getting older, so he could be in for a shout for the national team. You never know, but he's not a bad player. If we get him on a cheapish deal, that'd be really, really good. And yeah, it'd just be another centre-back option, especially if someone like Matip or Lovren does leave. So we never know. Another one is the Rabiot deal. Apparently we are now in talks with Rabiot himself. I'm not too sure what's happening with him in PSG. I still believe he's not playing for him and he is training with a very young team, I believe. So yeah, another midfield option would be great, especially with the likes of Milner coming to the end of his career. You can tell this season his legs aren't repairing as quick as they used to. He can't do 2 games in a week anymore, and you can tell that. And with the performance of Henderson as well, Liverpool fans are totally split on him. So Rabiot, young, talented, under Klopp, workhorse. Yeah, I could also see that being a really, really good deal. And there is also the rumour, which I believe is confirmed, that Julian Brandt, the young winger from Germany, is also this summer having a very, very cheap release clause. I think it's around £21 million. I don't know how much in euros. That's a release clause that activates this summer. Now that would be incredible. We have Shaqiri, but other than that, there is no one to replace Salah or Mane. We can't bring the likes of Lallana on. He'll probably be moved on in the summer. Origi isn't good enough, so we'll probably have 1 or 2 spots on the bench. I think Brandt would be a great one. Obviously, Harry Wilson's banging him in at Derby, doing really well, so he might even have a shout next season to be a bench player coming on. But yeah, I think Brandt would be a really, really good deal. Obviously, the release clause is very, very cheap for a prospect of his age to come through for that cheap. So I think that should be one Klopp looks at. And obviously a lot of the players are German, so we might have a shout there. But guys, that is the LFC weekly roundup from me. Hopefully it carries on. If you did enjoy, obviously hit the like button and subscribe. It will really help. Obviously this is my first video on this channel. And if there's anything you want to talk about, guys, go in the comments down below. Let me know if there's anything you want me to talk about in other videos or in the weekly roundup. Also put that down in the comments. But cheers guys, and see you next time.